Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Lodgify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts. Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.
Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday, Monday.
Monday.
Happy Friday. Friday.
Yeah, you got there.
Is today the best day of the week? No, Monday actually is when this will air, but we're pre-recording on Friday, given VRMA travels. Safe travels, everybody. I'm jealous I'm not going, but you will see the lovely faces of Will and Brandy at VRMA very soon.
Oh, yeah.
Well, someone has their wedding anniversary, and VRMA lands up right on top of that. And then right after the VRMA, we have our Good Morning Hospitality anniversary, October 19th. It's the actual
Which
birthday.
one's more important?
Come on, Michael, you got to pick. Just kidding.
The podcast or your marriage?
Don't put me on the spot like this. I plead the fifth. Yeah, so I love VRMA. I wish I was going. Scottsdale is a great location for it. That's going to be a good time. Great time of year for Scottsdale as well. What are y'all most excited about for VRMA this week?
I know it's crazy this week. I just, I think it's always a good time to get a pulse on how everybody's feeling. We're 3/4 of the way through the year, and a lot of people have just come out of their high season. So I'm always interested to see, are people more optimistic? How did this year go overall? At the end of the year, we'll have our recap, but it's a nice kind of like touch base to kind of feel out how the industry is doing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Brandy's sentiment around it. And then also, the vendor hall is always going to be crawling with new companies. So to see who's going to be here next year, who's going to be here the year after, what new products are hitting the industry, that's always a fun one.
Yeah. Which booths are getting the buzz? Who's got the coffee buzz? We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, I with the vendors, usually, when you're a pretty big company, you're not changing things willy-nilly, unless you're me for the last couple of years and you're swapping out PMSs all the time. But but I always find that there is at least one like really pivotal nugget of information, and you might get that at a session or talking to someone at a networking event or in the vendor hall. So I'm excited for that, like was one or two things that might be small fixes that can have a big impact, kind of the low-hanging fruit.
Yep. I haven't even looked at the schedule, but I'm going to assume these two people are speaking, because if they aren't, it's crazy. But Dave Van Gotti is and always has the best presentation of anybody. So if Dave is speaking, go watch him.
Yes.
He's my panel moderator.
All right. There you go.
Yes. Wednesday at 2:00.
So check that one out. And then our co-host, Jamie Lane, bringing the data. Check him out. I believe he's got a session. I know he's fought hard for one over the years, but I think he got one this year. Go check that one out.
Yeah, definitely. Because I don't think Jamie gets enough stage time. In my opinion.
He's definitely not talking at conferences all over the world.
It's true. It's not enough. We need more. We need more Jamie Lane. That's going to be my next shirt. More Jamie Lane.
Screaming for data.
Yeah, screaming for the data. It's gonna be really nice. Yep, go for it.
Will, you want to share the fun news about Well and Good Morning Coffee at VRMA, where people can get a little taste?
Yes, we'll be giving away amazing sample bags of our coffee, Well and Good Morning Coffee, at booth 219. It's going to be a shared booth with Operto and Hospitality.fm. And we're hosting a coffee hour. So October 15th, around 8:15, right after the doors open. Come get a cup, come get a free bag. If you have registered, great. If you have not registered, please do. We want to know who to expect, so that way we can cure up some maybe curated group discussions and other fun topics for everyone attending. Especially if you're an early riser and you're chatty in the morning, we really want you there. So
Yeah, that
please.
early morning energy.
Yes.
You need
Bring
that.
it.
I feel like the first day of the conference, everybody has that energy. It's day 2 when some people might have gone out a little too hard the night before,
Yeah.
or and that early
Nobody
start
on this
time.
call.
Not
Nobody on
me.
this call.
Definitely not me.
No.
I'm going to bed early. Good boy. On
Bring
my
that shirt, Will. Your early morning energy shirt. Bring
I
it.
Oh, I'll bring it. Bring all the good early morning shirt.
So on that, when everyone's going to be traveling for business next week, Skipped put out some good data this year or this week really, on US travel trends. And the big insight was into family trips and the likelihood of family trips. People have a very, very high intent to take family trips, and a pretty reasonably high intent to take multi-generational family trips, which is great to see. I think in the world of going down the Instagram, take a picture in front of the Leaning Tower of Pisa and all the fun topics we've covered on the show before. The big meaningful travel for a lot of people, some of the most fond memories people have is the family travels they've done when they're kids, or grandparents taking the whole families, the kids and grandkids. So I love that the data is showing the stuff is still very impactful and very meaningful. 40% of families, 46% of families are very likely, and 31% are likely. So 77% fall into the expected category to take a family trip this year, which big fan of.
Yeah, it's the multi-generational trip really stuck with me because this time last year for my grandmother's 90th, we did a 3-generation trip to New Orleans, like a girls' trip. So my grandmother, my aunt, and then a bunch of cousins, like girl cousins, we all went to New Orleans. And it did kind of highlight some of the things that you have to think about when you're planning from like 25 to 90 is a huge gap. And so you think like, okay, where do we have direct flights from is a big part of that. New Orleans obviously is a roamy market. So we had some accommodation hookups, but, usually you might think, do we need a certain type of, house to get everybody in, like mobility, all that stuff. And so these multi-generational trips it's a big lift to get them off the ground. And so it's kind of, I think it's a little inspiring that people are actually putting in that effort.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time relating to any of this in the article because I've never done, like, I'm too young. I was too young to remember any family travel that we did growing up, and my family doesn't travel together at all. So
well, you're one of 7, right? So I get that.
Yeah.
That's a big family. That by itself is tough to plan and schedule and find places for.
Yeah. Well, even with anything else, it's like even for siblings or anything. So a lot of this is probably new territory for me, and I won't have much to contribute when it comes to the actual data itself. But yeah, it's interesting at least.
Yeah, I think it also shows, they were saying that people are planning to like shorter, maybe like urban destinations where you have like a quick flight or driving out of town. So people aren't necessarily booking this multi-generational 20-person trip to the south of France. Like they're going somewhere cool nearby, or, definitely domestic where they can, it's a little bit more affordable than maybe some chunky international flights. Although I would not say no to a family trip to the south of France. So just putting that out into the ether.
Grandma B,
I know grandma's listening.
Yeah, exactly. Listening. Be say France.
Safe.
Well, that's I think how people originally got their first taste of being in short-term rentals, right? Like the originals, the OGs are the Saturday to Saturday and the Outer Banks, that kind of thing. And those were consistent every year. And so this just shows that those kind of trips are still popular and still happening. And one of the graphs, though, that I thought was pretty funny, and I got my hopes up. There was one graph that just says share of direct and third-party bookings, and I stopped reading after it said hotel, and it said that it was up to 52%. And I was like, that seems crazy to me. I would love that if it was, 53 or 52% direct bookings. And then I also realized that airlines were included in that. So that made a little bit more sense.
Does make sense. What do you guys feel about the section of the article going into the perception of personal financial status within the next 12 months? Do you think the consumer is feeling comfortable with their income over the next holiday period? Let's just say next 6 months. We got Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
There's definitely, according to the Skip data, a lot of perceived improvement on personal finances. 55% of people expect their financial situation to improve. Only 9% expected it to get worse. So perception and oftentimes is reality, but people are also many times probably more optimistic than is realistic. So it's probably somewhere in between. I think, it feels like we may have averted disaster on a big economic meltdown, which is great. But, I think there's still a lot of stagnant wages out there with people. And there's also, having kids, there's a big discrepancy of incomes with people with kids versus without kids, or disposable income rather. Because kids are really expensive these days. So, but I think all in all, the fact that optimism is brewing and trending in the right direction. The chart goes back to 2020, and a cross between things are worse and things are getting better happened in the fall of 21. So, right then, that's when inflation started getting pretty wild, right? That's when it started getting wild. So optimism good, traveler outlook also good, and the fact that families are traveling is a fantastic thing for the short-term rental industry.
Yeah, you might get a lot of those boosts around Thanksgiving and Christmas, bringing the whole like, I think that's another thing, these big holidays, you're like, okay, are we going to Michael's this year? Okay. Like you have to figure out, are we all staying at Michael's? Probably not. So getting that short-term rental nearby, Michael says firm no.
I don't have a mansion.
Yeah. And, I think we were talking about this offline earlier, but if you're in a room full of founders in whatever industry, everybody's super optimistic about their company and their products, because to be otherwise would be like a little defeating of like the whole purpose of starting that company. And I think that there's a little bit of that also that applies to your personal finances. If you're just always super gloomy, that's not like a great reality to live in. So, we'll obviously see as we go into the holiday spending period if the consumer confidence, matches what their perceived confidence is.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll only really tell during Black Friday, so that'll be a big indicator
I
on
know.
how
And
people are really feeling about it.
it's so funny because we're getting, we're in the final stretch of the year and we're getting closer and closer to our predictions recap episode. And I always love that, to see like how either like spot on or just like totally divergent from the, from what we expected. So it's fun. It's fun to see.
I always forget about the recap episode until right about November, and I'm like, shit, what did I even say? Like,
I
what
don't
was my
remember what I said.
prediction?
So.
I don't remember what I said either.
I'm glad we had Kelsey. I had Kelsey clip them all of them up, put into a folder with a sheet of like, Michael says this, Brandy says that, Will says this. So thank the Lord for having a producer, because we would not be able to function. But
Shout out Kelsey.
shout out to Kelsey.
And we've got a couple more shout outs to wrap up the show. Brandy, Will, who wants to kick it off?
Yeah, I can, because this is also STR operator related, but Dennis from Cassiola posted, I think this morning, about how a guest that stayed with them during the very, very recent Hurricane Milton, they gave him a 2-star because they had like put the furniture in the house, so that the outdoor furniture in the house, so that it wouldn't, blow away or smash into the house or anything like that. And just this, like, that to me is so crazy. It's like a massive hurricane was going through, and you were like, you know what? They were trying to protect the property. It's like, you go sit down outside on that lawn chair and you keep it, from blowing away. It's just that, like, I think you have to kind of look at those reviews and customer behavior with a sense of humor, because it's just so obviously crazy to leave a bad review because you were preparing for a hurricane.
And anyone reading the review isn't going to think that that's a bad thing, that the company brought in furniture during a hurricane. But the bad thing is a lot of people don't read the reviews, and that 2-star rating is going to stick and carry on. So hopefully, was that on Vrbo?
It was looks like booking.com.
Well, hopefully Booking can go in and nix that one for our friend Dennis.
Yeah, you can always dispute reviews. There is criteria. So if someone, like, egregious things that don't really have anything to do with your property, or in this case, there was a hurricane, like, you can go and dispute that. So
yeah, let's go to Florida. There's a hurricane coming.
Yeah,
I know, but we were all like, "Hey, it's not hitting Miami. Don't worry."
True.
Fly around it.
Yeah. Fly around it.
Yeah, go the opposite. I know Dennis is close with the booking.com people, so I'm sure they'll be able to help him out. They'll hook him up, hopefully. Another shout out, Mr. Michael. You want to give him?
So we've got Well and Good Morning Coffee in a partnership with Well and Good from Jonathan Wicks. And Will and I got some texts from Jonathan this week out in the Asheville area, helping bring supplies, doing cleanup. So huge shout out to Jonathan for rolling up the sleeves and getting out there. But additionally, our coffee roaster was one of the bases for the distribution and supplies. So got to see the coffee roaster firsthand, meet them, smell all the smells, taste all the tastes. But big shout out to Jonathan and his team for getting out there, helping clean up the efforts, and an added bonus of drinking some delicious coffee.
Yeah, they're always a group that's never afraid to get their hands dirty, obviously, as a servicing company, but even beyond that. So always a big shout out to that, and the initial behavior that sets a good example for the rest of us. Yeah, exciting times for everyone to come together at VRMA. Anything that you guys are looking forward to this coming week outside of conferences? Anything fun, exciting, personal, business?
No, it's so funny because I feel like VRMA always creeps up on me. And so but I am excited. I always have kind of like, I get like the Sunday scaries about it sometimes, where you're like, I have so much to do. And then when you finally get there, it's all like, it all settles down.
And then the flight home's like, I've got so much to do.
I know. Well, I also the flights, for some reason, direct from Miami, like the round trip from Miami to Phoenix, were unbelievably expensive. And they were really expensive a couple months ago when I looked, and then obviously they did not get cheaper. And I'm on the red eye home Wednesday night. So
nope.
I'm literally going from dinner to the plane. So it's gonna be rough.
Awful.
Yeah, I'm doing not a red eye, but I'm leaving at like 7 p.m. on Thursday. So figured give myself enough time to say goodbye to everybody and then make sure I don't go out and just go home.
That's got to be like an hour flight though for you though, right?
Like it's like 2.5 hours. So
wow,
5+ over here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be home by like 9:30, getting into my car, driving myself home, not paying for an crazy expensive Uber. It'll be very nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're excited to see everyone next week. Come find Will and I will be around, and then also obviously at the booth. Come get your coffee in the morning on the 15th. I'm going to try to find some fun donuts. So If you know where the best donuts in Phoenix are, send me a message. If not, Google will assist.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jonathan Wicks is a local, so he'll be hopefully giving us a good recommendation while we're getting prepped. But yeah, Michael, we're gonna miss you, man. Not the same when it's just part of the group together. It's got to be the full group.
Well,
Miss our
word on the
Barcelona
street
days.
is Leo's going to put on an American accent and pretend to be me. So
Here we go. Perfect. No one will know. We'll just get
American
a little red hair
accent,
dye.
Yeah, some red hair. It'll be good.
it'll be great.
Yeah, definitely good. Well, super excited. Make sure for all the people listening today, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the show. Give us your favorite feedback on how we can do better, the stories you love to hear, you name it. Oh, and also don't forget, follow and subscribe on YouTube. We're growing pretty good over there. And outside of that, we will see you guys again next week.
Want to stop juggling spreadsheets, calendars, and a dozen apps just to run your rentals? Logify makes it easy. It's an all-in-one toolkit for hosts. Build a direct booking website, automate guest messaging, and keep all your channels in sync. Running your rental business your way has never been simpler. And for Good Morning Hospitality listeners, you can get 20% off any yearly plan with code GMH20. Just check the link in the show notes to get started today.